Welcome brawlers, I'm the Hermit and I hope you're ready for some Earthbending, because our commander today is Toph, Hardheaded Teacher. For 2 red and a green, we get a 3/4 legendary human warrior ally, and when she enters, we may discard a card. If we do, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Then whenever you cast a spell, that's any spell, Earthbend 1. If that spell is a lesson, put an additional counter on the Earthbended land. So, she doesn't care about just instant and sorceries, just any spell in general, but the instant and sorcery has a little bit of a nice payoff for when we want to cast our commander and get one of them back. Usually we're gonna be trying to get the 1 mana ones, but even sometimes the 2 mana ones or even harmonize could be useful depending on the situation. So what are the instants that we're gonna try to get back? Well, they are Traverse Town, Traverse the Urban World. Early on, we can just get a basic land, and hopefully when we cast off, we can already have Delirium, get to search for a creature or any land, not just a basic. We also have just 1 lesson, and its size makes sense. When we cast it, we look at the top card of our library, and then we reveal a creature from or a land from among them. And we get to look at as many cards as we have lands on the field. So that's a nice synergy. We also have Bushwhack, like Traverse the Urban World, we get a land, or we can use it to fight something. And then a couple of removals, Strangle, and Lightning Bolt. Then, like I said, we're not too heavy on lessons, we don't even have the Rampant Crossbow one, but instead we're gonna be having some creature-based ramp. We have Birds of Paradise, Selfish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, but then we're all gonna be trying Animal Attendant. Taps for 1 mana of any color, but if we use it to cast a non-human creature spell, then that creature enters with a +1/+1 counter. And we want to try the creature-based ramp because we're gonna be playing Badgermore Cub. When this creature enters, we Earthbend 1, and then whenever we tap a creature for mana, we add an additional green mana. Then we have some landfall cards, landfall creatures, Toph Lockhart. We already saw Cycle Cub as well as Grizzly Bill. They're gonna be putting counters on creatures and doubling with Bill by activating his ability, but with the Cub whenever we get our second landfall trigger. We are also gonna be running Renan 6 as well as a decent amount of fetch lands that we're gonna be getting back either with Ren or just playing ones so that we can get the triggers from Sidecar Cub. On the land side, we have a couple of indestructible lands so we can Earthbend them. Darksteel Citadel, Cascading Cataracts, and the artifact one, Slugwood's Bridge. We also have Mossborn Hydra for even more landfall and +1 counter synergies. We have Terra Symbiosis. Whenever we put a counter on a creature, we may draw that many cards, but only once each turn. Kodama of the West Tree, our modified creatures. When they deal damage to our opponent, we get to search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. We also have Midweaver Puck and Ashaya, Soul of the Wild, so with Puck we can copy our first land drop, and with Ashaya, every creature that we play after her, it's gonna be a land. Or even if we want, we can Earthbend on 2 creatures we already have on the battlefield. Then, because we're gonna be discarding sometimes, we have a couple of cards that have synergies with discarding in Ivora and Intis and Skull of the Sun. Ivora makes blood tokens and then she grows whenever we discard, and Inti just gets us an impulse draw, as well as making us discard whenever we attack. Well, giving us the option. Then we have some more Earthbending, Toph from the Sin cards, Mummy Unleashed, and Toph from the Jumpstart set. This one has a landfall to give us experience counters, and then whenever we attack, we are earned equal to the number of experience counter we have. We also have a couple of sagas from Avatar, The Legend of Kyoshi, draws us cards, earthbends, and then becomes a 5/4 that can add mana. Legend of Roku, exile the top 3, pretty much a impulse harmonize. Then we add 1 mana, not that relevant, but it becomes a 4/4 that can firebend 4 and make dragons for 8 mana. So that's the deck, some more removal, some more value creatures, a couple of ways to make our opponents lose their abilities with Trickster, Kenrid's Transformation, and King of the Cold Blood Course. So now let's get into the queue and get to some earthbending. Against Tifa. Not great, but maybe we can do something. And something I tend to do is I don't usually play Moxamber. No, you don't always get to keep your commander, but since this one costs 0, I mean, since we need to cast spells of any kind, getting a 0-cost spell that actually works after your commander, not the worst deal in the world. I think we're gonna use the Seismic Sense for a land. Toph is great too. Let's get Bolt back. We discard Rebel Salvo. It's usually better for Indestructible or 5 toughness commander, so that's why we have it in the deck. But Tifa is just weaker than that. Lilia, another counter on the forest. Just hit our opponent. That's Spill from opponent. Audacity, we will respond by using Bolt. Oh, I needed to put the counter on the turn here. That way we get to sacrifice it and get it back. Titanic growth. Fair enough. And now we have the cup, which means we should be able to just Earthbending and getting even more mana. Yep. GG's. Goven, I guess we can beat Goven. Are they gonna thought scissors? Okay, fine. Fair enough then. They reanimate Dragaman. So I guess we have to get the cup. Earthbend on the glade. And they figure out push the cup, but we can still block with the land. So. Although ideally we could also just Might the Deathless. We will decline, but we'll Earthbend 2 lands. Yeah. And we're gonna let our opponent essentially play Covenant equip the boots. But that's most of their turn, they only have 1 mana left. And we just have 6 power, 9 with Lelia. Actually, potentially we have even more power because of Earthbending, so... first. Yes, let's play. Just put a counter on a land. 0, confirm. Opponent living up to their name. Indecisive. I think they can attack, transform Goven, and well, attack, get the damage with Goven, transform it, and then get a discount for Flim, but I don't know what's the follow-up with just 1 mana, so... Ooh, they discard a land. Do they play it and take 2 damage? Bolt. Okay, yeah, GG's. Yeah, they didn't play anything other than Ragavan's, a removal. I guess they had the boot, so we just outran them, outpace them in the aggro, so GG's. The infamous group flow. And we have 2 ways to... yeah, we should keep it. We have ways to make it so it doesn't do much. Either we make it an elk or a lizard. The lizard is more powerful, and it's also good when... I guess both of them are actually good when we use them for our own creatures. And by creatures I mean our Earthbending lands. Let's play Ink Moth, and we're gonna Earthbend it. And because they remove the abilities, but the Earthbending trigger is a delay trigger, we don't lose it. They can still come back if they die or go to exile. Okay, they killed the god. So what do we do now? Let's... should we? We're not doing much else, so... we draw a card. It's a 4/4 now. And it no longer can tap for mana. Oops. Damage to that whistle. Whistly whistle. Like I said, this is still gonna return with Airbending, but it no longer can produce mana, so not great, but also it's a decent threat against our opponent. Thieves' Tools. Yes, I want to Traverse again. Now maybe let's flex That way opponent knows that we have removal for their commander. We will discard the king here. And we're just gonna keep hitting them for a bunch. And the neat trick here is we can enthusiasm to try to kill Gruul if they play it. And if they have some way to... I guess they are in black, so they probably don't have any ways to give it protection. But if they were green to protect it, we can suplex the Thieves' Tool. Pain Reaper. Attack with the Nexus here. They let it go. Okay. So now let's get Roku. We will play the foothills here. Chandra.
Let's do this.
And this is why we do what we do. Oh. Yep, my bad. Yep. We play poorly. Needed to be a basic for a basic forest. They reanimate the cub. Sure. Now, what do we do? Guess we strangle the cub and attack Chandra. Yeah, that Pain Reaper is gonna kill us if we don't answer it soon. We're gonna sacrifice these two. Can we win here? No, because that was just short. So this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we were one short. GG's, I guess. Oh, actually too short. Still. Not enough. GG's. That's cool. Ooh, I feel we are up against it. But this is not the worst hand. Depends on how much removal they have. And if we get to get either Ouroboros or Toph fast enough. I guess they probably mulligan for removal. Subtlety. Okay, so they are surveilling, it's not removal, so they can keep a land on top that we cannot cast. Let's get the outlook, and next turn we can play Ouroboros, I think. That's not how you wanted to do that. You wanted to wait until after we shuffled the opponent. With the room command, that's nice. Let's get Ouroboros going. Maybe it's Act of Negation or something like that. Yeah, right now they can cast Kasigur, or I guess we can Rebel Salvo it. It's Neon Form. Or what? In. Yeah, I guess we're gonna... We didn't get the land, so I don't know what we can do. Again, we are hoping on Ouroboros to do something great. Although I guess opponent can mill with Tasigurs and they can get something they can reanimate. They take Fury. But please save us, Ouroboros. Mesmeric Orb. No, there goes our lands. Let's kill Tasigur. Bell Pierce. Yeah, it was lethal opponent, you need to block. Go down to 5, we get 2 lands. She already Apocalypse for opponent. Omniscience and Galta, okay. We need our opponent to get unlucky with Sin. Right, it's not about luck when you have Tasigur, my bad. Let's see what they get with Omniscience. If it's a turn, obviously they just win. Oh, Rakshasasha's Bargain. And we have to give them one back. Yeah, for my guests. What's the rate of Griselbrand? Does that save me? Okay, Burden Rejuvenation. That's GG's. Yep. Good games. Nope. This is better. No, a braid, I think. Maybe a braid and we send this ends back. We can play the attendant and then use it to cast the cop. Well, we have 2 cops. First we use sidecar. Maybe we pass. We can protect the cop and also next turn we can play the Badger mode, Earthbend the Vista, and then just sacrifice it, get it back immediately. One Chiton, but we have a braid, so. Now this is some value. Upgrade. It's okay, even though this is a human. Encounter spells. So now we just push back for the win. PJ Statioba. I guess we were fast enough. And keeping the upgrade for Watch Triton was definitely worth it, over keeping the seismic sense. Good games. Lord Azula. Ooh, and they have the Azula sleeves. Nice. So here, if we draw a green source, we can... Okay, we don't. But we still should patch up. Do a little earthbending. Talisman from opponent. Guess we should play Lelia here. If we get a land. Thank God. We wait on the recruit. Come on, opponent, you should play Azula. Bio. This is to target player. So, Bolt you. Dive down. Yeah, I guess that one was on me. Needed to shove aside and then opponent plays Thoughtseize, they see a bunch of removal, a recruit. They take Fury, smart. Lightning Grips. They could play Azula, attack here. Okay, they equip Bio. I think we should go to combat, attack with these two guys, maybe even the forest. See what we get. A land. And now they deal some damage to us? No, they don't. Azula, equip the grips, attack, and they have 3 mana. They can cast a spell which they will copy, but is that enough to deal with 3? Okay, no, I don't think so. I was thinking maybe Fire Magic. Yeah, Fire Magic for the first. The second tier deals 2 damage to every creature, you copy it, 4 damage to every creature, Azula dies, but they still live another turn. Although I guess not, because we can replay Toph, get Lightning Bolt back, bolt our opponent, so. GG's Azula. I guess Toph is just better. Hey, bye. If we get a colored land here, we can just run and 6 and we go from there. I don't know if that's gonna be enough value though. Or apparently if we even get to do that. Cinderglade. Let's hope they play a dork here and not non-creature ramp. It's newfound adventure. What will happen to this game? Opponent has their own Renan 6. Maybe they have a counter spell, so let's play this on human. Maybe they have path. Oh, swords to plowshares. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. They get the... okay, so yeah, it's all control deck, blink, a little blink, but mostly control, so they can get to the card advantage shrines. Opponent gets to loot here. Do they also have a blink spell? Shadow of the Second Sun. Sure, killing the elves. Besides, makes sense. Tumble whack. Toph, Toski, or more Toph. Yeah, unsurprisingly, they might beat us here. Because they're gonna get 2 upkeeps, and with Ephemerate, they are gonna get even more shrines. I mean, we are not out yet, but it's definitely... I think our opponent is a little favored. Maybe it's more equal than I'm giving our opponent credit for. Weaver of Harmony for more triggers. We almost have run out of Finland. Yep, and this is what I meant. Captain Tifa, that might be our worst nightmare. But I think we want to kill Felia here. Actually, I did it wrong. We needed to shuffle Tifa because we don't want to draw her next turn. Okay. Yes. Yep, that's gonna deal damage to us, probably kill whatever they need, so. It was close for a while there. Against one Shitong. Are they gonna counter every spell we play? I guess not anymore. Although we need to be careful because they also could have Field of Ruin style effects so that they get to draw a card with one Shitong by making us shuffle. They just run it out. Arcane Signet. There's water skin. Human. They could probably still have bounce target spell. We don't want both Fury and Pyrokinesis. Actually, maybe we don't want the king here. Earthbending scroll. Right now it costs them 2 mana to exile. Let's see if we hit another land. And then boom, it's just gonna make something one of our... Okay, sure, but we still get to keep our lands. Cast something into the fire. Or okay, let's first deal the damage. In response to the trigger, we will cast into the fire. And recycle, I guess. See if we get a land we can play. That's nice. Three steps ahead to draw and discard. Do they finally get the land so that, yeah, now they can just bend their water skin, tapped. Earthbending scroll to draw a card. solve the equation. Return all creatures, so okay. So alright, we needed to attack to trigger this stuff. Gruul's Messenger. I guess that's good enough for pyrokinesis. Memory lapse. Okay. Mana for that. Lair of Denial. Okay. And that's good enough for our opponent. We were gonna be putting them to 2, but we had the 2 Tophs. We were gonna be, I guess, getting back either pyrokinesis or casting to the fire, and then just we were gonna have 3 lethal attackers next turn. So GG's. So that's gonna be it for today, and I gotta say, I will admit that the matchmaker was very kind to this deck. I think the fact that we are not playing too much landfall cards, too much landfall in general, means that we are getting decent matches, even though we are playing the 1-drop mana dorks and some 2-drop mana dorks that also weigh down some decks. Some of the cards that felt a little awkward were the Trickster Elk, and even the King of Cold-Blooded Cores. They felt they were too costly, or we didn't cast them against every deck, but I think you're allowed to play a couple of quote-unquote bad cards, or cards that are not, that you don't want every match, because with Toph, you can discard one to get essentially a cantrip if you get your Bushwhack, your Seismic Sense, so maybe you could also, if you want to, trade this for other creature terror cards. or land tutor cards like Bushwhack. I think there are a couple more. One that collects evidence, at least, and or maybe you could also play 1 mana Artifact Destruction if you run into into the panda that makes shrines. So if you run into that deck, maybe you also want, instead of just artifact removal, you want more enchantment removal. You could definitely play those. There are definitely instant sorceries, and because with Toph you can cast them and get them back later, so I should probably add some of those in the deck list. But for now, thank you for watching. I'm DJ Hermit, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.